Titus chapter 2, verse 12. We'll read it first. Paidu usa hemas hina arne samenoi tain asebean kai tas kosmikos epithumias sophronos kai dikaios kai eusebos zesomen en to nun ioni. Looking at the NASB 95, instructing us, or there's a footnote there, or disciplining us, instructing us to deny ungodliness and worldly desires and to live sensibly, righteously, and godly in the present age. So again, just reminding ourselves that our main verb up here is appeared. The grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all men and training or instructing us. Again, we have the object, and if we just look at that paiduusa, it's a participle, so we're tending towards believing this is functioning adverbially, again giving more information about what the appearing of the grace of God is doing. So here we have God's grace training, and then we have the object of that training in the accusative here, hemas, so the grace of God that trains us. And here's the content of the training. You could say the hina here, if you go, or the substantival content, if you look and see the range that hina can be functioning, training us in order that, training us as a result that, or I would tend towards saying, or the third marker here, the marker of content, what is being taught or instructed. So we are being instructed. Again, we have another participle here, that menoi ending. Of course, your software will tell you that, middle participle. Training us, what is it that we're being trained to do? We're being trained to deny or to renounce. Again, a brief look at that word to teach us that we have a full range of meaning. Deny, verbally renounce something. Deny or disown, to refuse to agree, to disregard, to refuse to follow. And I would tend towards thinking that second view is in view here, the Lunita 3448, to deny, disown, repudiate. And interestingly, DBL highlights with the focus possibly of nonverbal denial. So just by our own life and conduct, this is the thing to be denied, not merely verbally speaking against, but also actually living in accordance with it. So what is to be denied? Training us that we are to deny asebean. This is the opposite of godliness. Again, looking briefly at that, we have the gloss of impiety, godlessness, or ungodliness, and that is living without regard to religious belief or practice. So it's teaching us to renounce ungodliness and kosmikos epithumias. Kosmikos is related to the word world, and then epithumias is the idea of passions. So renouncing ungodliness and passions. What kind of passions? Worldly passions. Now, it's important that there's a little bit of a break here, and to realize that. If you missed that, you'll be confused, because the next thing listed is a good thing, self-control. So we're not renouncing self-control. Self-control is related to something further on in the sentence. So now we're looking for another verb that this could be related to. So we have sophronos and dikaios. Okay, another good thing here. And then we have eusebeos. Again, these words are related and that they are opposites. You can see some of the similarities in spelling even. So one being godliness, one being ungodliness, so the opposite. But again, how are all three of these words related? Self-control, righteousness, and godliness. Here we have the verb we were looking for, zesomen. This is another finite verb. We have a subjunctive. So in order that we might, kind of that potentiality. Verb in the aorist active subjunctive first person plural. So the subject of a first person plural is we, in order that we might live. Soma is the idea of living or being alive, or likely here it would be not just being alive, but in view would be behaving or conducting ourselves in a certain manner. And that's Lunita 41.2, I would imagine. Yeah, indeed, that is how the Logos group has tagged it. There at the bottom is Lunita 41.2. So we have the idea of living or behaving in a manner, and in what way are we supposed to behave or live? That's the points we're seeing here, 1, 2, and 3. So there's 3 ways we're supposed to be living related to each of those. And we have one other phrase at the end here that's modifying living in preposition. A preposition is always followed by the object of the preposition. In the, we have the dative article. The now, again, that would not be, because that's an adjective, that's not the word we're looking for. I mean, if you didn't have this word, presumably you could say that it's functioning substantively, but it's not. So in the now, ioni, and if you look up ioni, you realize the word age is what that means. So the present time, the present era, is probably the unit of time right now. So in order that we might live this way right now. So grace has appeared, training us to renounce certain things, to deny certain things, but then also to live a certain way. So there's the negative, but then there's also the positive. Grace is training us in both ways. It's giving us how we are to live, and it's giving us what we're to deny. And it is doing so in this present age. It's not just that grace is preparing us for the age to come. Grace is teaching us how we are to live even today. So that is Titus chapter 2, verse 12.